People used to be on the money when you would tell them what you're about. But as soon as you stopped doing this, they would mess everything up. You would have met a person or people and you would have got on well with them and connected with them in some capacity. And you would have got closer to them and had a relationship or interactions with them, and things would have seemed to be going well. But after some time, you would have noticed that you couldn't trust them with certain things. They kept on making silly mistakes or making problems or issues where they shouldn't be. At the time, you didn't realize it, but it was a form of weaponized incompetence. So the more this started to happen, you very slowly started to realize that if you wanted to prevent messes and problems, that you would need to do some preemptive action. So you started to tell the person, okay, this is how things should be. This is how to do things so that we'll have an outcome that is positive. This is what you need to remember. So without you realizing it, they had subtly trained you to teach them how to act in front of you. And they would comply oftentimes with the things that you said, and you found that your situation got better if you would always inform them about the way things should be. And it seemed like a responsible thing to do, to make sure that you had good outcomes for yourself and for them. But after some time, you felt the burden of this. Anytime that you didn't tell them what to do, things wouldn't turn out quite as well. So you felt this increasing responsibility. You always had to be on the money. You always had to be on the ball. You always had to tell them, okay, this is what you have to do. So you spent all of your time and attention being super vigilant, because if you just dropped the ball for 1 second, things would go crazy. And then when you would try and hold them accountable, they would act like it wasn't their fault. And it got to the point where things were so incompetent on their end that all of your time was spent cleaning up their messes or preempting a problem. Eventually, this came to your conscious awareness to such an extent, and you became so unwilling to be at the whim of this that you suddenly withdrew all of this attention. You started with small things where you felt like, okay, maybe if I withdraw from this aspect, it won't be that bad. Let me just stop telling this person what I'm about and what needs to happen and see what they do. And as soon as you would have started doing this, you would have seen the true nature of that person and the way they really move. Not the way that you were informing them to move, but the way they actually move. Because what you hadn't realized was that they had been showing themselves as more competent than they actually were by studying and learning from you. Every time you told them, okay, this is how things should be, this is how you do it, they were absorbing that capacity. They were making themselves look good in front of you and others through your wisdom, your knowledge, your capacity. But they themselves did not inherently contain that capacity. But because you had been teaching them incidentally and just on the daily how to go about things, sometimes it wasn't even obvious. Sometimes it would just be like the two of you were planning or something. You'd be like, okay, we're going to go here, we're going to do this. The responsible way to do this is in this fashion or that fashion. And they would go along with that. But what you didn't realize is they were studying everything you were saying so that they could comply with it. Not because they had any intention of really living up to it, but because they were trying to manipulate the situation and make you think that they had things under control and make you think that they were a kind of person that they want, that they weren't. While in the background, they were doing completely different things. And it wasn't until you started to withdraw your teaching of them, the training of them that they had inadvertently fooled you into doing, that you realize this is a completely different person. They're riding on my coattails. They're messing up everything. And I shouldn't be giving them the time and attention that I have been. Now you know better, and now you do different.